Greetings once again, my social media. Hopefully, I'll have a good following soon, as soon as possible. What a beautiful day again to have another political chat. The problem is outside, it's very windy. I had to sit in my car today and have a wonderful conversation about African politics. Today, I'm looking at the state of African politics. In politics, there are two groups of people involved in making politics: the politicians and the voters or the followers, those who vote and follow those the politicians. I once read a beautiful quote which says, the oppressor, both the oppressor and the oppressed, they have a role to play in the oppression. If you are oppressed, it simply means you also have allowed it to happen. So, in as much as we have bad politics in Africa, immature politics in Africa, it also resembles the voters and the followers, that they also immature and they have a very low political IQ and understanding of politics, which leads them to elect those bad political leaders that we have today. African politics is characterized by a huge number of people who are ignorant, who don't understand what politics means, what it means for them to vote, what do they need to look for. They are the we are the same people who put these people, who elect these leaders that we cry about. Why do we give them power? Why do we support them? Even if in terms of violence, we are the perpetrators of the violence, the leaders themselves can just influence us to do something wrong, but we are the ones who carry out these heinous acts. We are the supporters who give these people power. We, without us, without the military, without the police, and common person like you and me, the leaders that we have no power. No politician has power outside of the people who follow him, who support him, and who protect him. Case in point, recently in South Africa, they had an election. My favorite, Julius Selo Malema, the father of Africa, he didn't do well in the election. His following base didn't grow. The statistics says he actually lost followers. And I looked at this and asked myself, why would that be? A few days back, I was listening to him, his campaigns, and his team. I can see there is a maturity in his politics. He is no longer the old, noisy Julius Malema that he used to be. He's now talking sense. He's now preaching ideology. He's now preaching policy. Every time he's speaking of strategy on how to improve the country, on how to improve Africa. But unfortunately, uh, in as much as he has changed, he has matured, but the followers didn't. They have responded and showed him that they're not interested in that kind of message. That's how African politics is. The voters are not educated to understand what policy is, what ideology is, what visions the visions that he was now telling and preaching about to the people don't understand, and they showed no interest and actually lost because somebody else stepped into the arena and made noise and just rumbling useless noise and promising people stuff that doesn't make sense at all. That is the sad reality of African politics. That's how it goes. I feel for the man. I do not know what will be his strategy going forward. Is he gonna go back to his old politics and make noise and threaten to take the land back and all that stuff, and forget about policy and all those things that he was preaching about? Or he just continues that way? And they've been great people, great politicians that we wish they'll if they could become leaders and if they could become the ones who wins, but unfortunately they are not the ones who wins. The people who woos the people and the followers and garners huge voters are not the people uh, talking about policy, talking about ideology, preaching sense. It's the guy who just comes out of nowhere and just looks for a pain that the people have and just claims that they will fix it, make a lot of noise. Even in debates, if people are debating, you can hear that these people are just noisy, empty containers. They have nothing. They don't know anything. They don't understand anything in terms of politics and economy and ideology, trying to build. But they tend to woo the people, and the people follow them, and because people also don't know, because people also don't understand, voters don't understand what they need to look for in their leaders. As people, we need to understand that politicians are human beings. They are as selfish as everybody else is. That's the law of human nature. Everybody is self-centered. Everybody thinks of themselves. Gone are the days when we're gonna have a Nelson Mandela, a Kenneth Kaunda, a Robert Mugabe rising out of chaos without the prospects of being paid or making a ton of money or stealing, looting, and becoming millionaires out of politics. Those people were cold and they were real. Nowadays, we have so many politicians who are opportunists. They just look for a gap. They just look for something that people um, are not happy with, and they claim that they will fix it, or they claim that they will do something about it. But in reality, it's all bullshit. All they need is it's literally just a following, and they just want to be there as an opposition and make some money. And opposition parties also get money from the budget, right? So it is the sad reality. It's especially with people who come from just break out of certain parts, so and so. When they come out of that party, they go and form another one and say now all of a sudden they're gonna be different, and they know what the ruling party or whatever party they were with for 20 years are doing wrong, so they will do it differently. It's all bullshit. The reality is, a politician, someone who has been in politics for 20 years, they don't have a job. They are not a carpenter, they are not a plumber. The next thing, if they're expelled or chased away from a party, is to form another party. That's the only thing. Then they will just look for stupid excuses and lie and tell people lies about the other party and say they will be different in some way. But in reality, the people who end up following those people are just being used as pawns on a chessboard. But people don't understand, and sometimes at the expense of those of the country, of the people following them, because some of these leaders, if they've been in a party for long enough, they can have huge influence and they can cause chaos and lure people to do protests and destabilize the country for their personal gain. It's literally for their personal gain. Sometimes it's for revenge. Sometimes it's just to get back at someone who chased them away from a certain party and so and so. But the people is the problem. The people don't understand. If the people would understand, if the people would have the political understand that this is bullshit, then we wouldn't have problems.